What's up, everybody? I want to welcome you guys all to our first episode of the Honeypot podcast for 2025. Um, Last year, I spent a lot of time talking with other individuals around social intelligence, and you see one familiar face from last season, Dway and Elise. But if you guys can recall, Dway and I had this idea we would do an international show, but we didn't think we had enough firepower, so we had to bring another host, Felianny Santos, in as well. So I want to introduce my new host to the Honeypot podcast, where we talk about anything and everything regarding social intelligence and just really helping the industry and individuals in our industry get more out of what we do and be those leaders in the space. So without further ado, I want to pass things off to our co-host or not even our co-host. They're just the other hosts, right? And we have a really unique perspective
Yeah.
that we're bringing to the table. And I'll let the ladies do their thing because they're going to be explaining what they're doing and in the languages that they're going to be doing it with. So one of you guys take the floor. I'm not even going to pass it off. Just somebody jump in and go.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm really excited to be here today. First of all, I want to thank you, finally, Khalil, for this amazing opportunity to be part of this project for this journey. So the podcast Honeypot, it's like just about exploring the world and the power about for social listening, social intelligence, culture, things. So and also how brands can leverage this landscape refined all this insight to having right the right strategy and how cultural trends also shape the digital landscape. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Awesome. So, hi everyone. I'm Felianny Santos, and I'm very, very excited to be here. I mean, when Khalil and Dway talked to me about this opportunity, I think it was great, especially because we're gonna be covering different languages, different continents. So we're very, very excited just to be able to keep promoting the importance of social listening and social intelligence in different markets, and for each of us really to dive deeper in what's happening within the industry and within this discipline and the different continents. So very, very happy to be here and very excited. I know this season is going to be amazing. So amazing and excited to be here with you guys and share this space.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
and
really
I
excited
I
too
appreciate you guys.
to be.
No, yeah, absolutely. I
Okay, so
appreciate you guys jumping into the project with us. I'm gonna pass things back to Dway because, as Feliani mentioned, right, this is going to be an international show. So we're addressing our English audience right now, but I'm gonna pass it back to Dway because Dway, you have a couple different audiences that you're going to be approaching, and you need to address them directly. So go ahead, Dway, and then we'll pass it back to Feliani as well.
Okay, sure. So I'm really excited to be host for the French and Arabic speaking audience. So I'm gonna switch to French for introduce the concept for more details. So simply, l'objectif de ce podcast est très simple en fait de explorer en profondeur l'importance du social listening, social data et l'intelligence sociale et culturelle. Et cela, ça va être à travers des échanges constructifs, des échanges avec des experts internationaux, que ce soit dans le digital, le marketing, le social intelligence, la e-réputation. Ça va être vraiment des conversations interculturelles avec une approche multilinguistique. Donc, restez connectés. De belles et très belles choses arrivent et let's explore this together. The floor is yours, Nani and Khalil.
Awesome.
Awesome.
It's funny how even though we're speaking different languages, you can kind of understand when you listen closely. Like, oh, okay. That's why I was telling Dwayne, like I'm inadvertently like learning different languages a little bit. So
Yeah,
let's see
this
what
is
you have,
awesome.
Filiani.
And we get to practice too, right? We get
Yeah,
to
right.
also understand how this is discussed in different languages, which I love.
Yeah.
So now it's my turn. I'm going to switch to Spanish now. Muchísimas gracias de verdad por esta oportunidad. Estamos muy contentos y muy emocionados, pues poder conectar con especialistas y profesionales de social listening y social intelligence en el área de Latinoamérica. Sabemos que esta es una disciplina súper importante que está creciendo muchísimo y entendemos la importancia. Entonces, realmente creemos que es tiempo pues de tener un espacio como este, donde podamos conectar con personas que están haciendo la diferencia en Latinoamérica, con social listening, entendiendo estos insights y cómo afectan la marca, la reputación, cómo se están utilizando para seguir avanzando la presencia de marcas o entender mejor la industria. Entonces, estamos muy emocionados porque sabemos que vamos a tener invitados buenísimos en esta temporada y que vamos sobre todo a proveer mucho contenido de educación, pues para seguir promoviendo el área de social listening, social intelligence, conectarnos más, unirnos más en Latinoamérica y también pues aprender de los casos de uso y de los éxitos que están teniendo las personas que ya y las marcas que están utilizando social intelligence y social listening. Así que no se pierdan el contenido que vamos a tener esta temporada, que está buenísimo, y muy feliz de estar aquí.
That's awesome. I pick up every time you say entonces, because I know that means then, and then social intelligence, obviously. So I'm super excited about this. The way our first episode was, I can't even remember how long ago. Right? It was quite a while ago. It was right around the time when there was a earthquake in New York City.
Yeah.
And I remember us talking about how differently we're approaching these different events that happen where there's it could be catastrophic or just acts of God, and how sometimes in America we take that as an opportunity to create memes or jokes or things like that, and how you said is very much so different in Morocco. And then fast forward to maybe a couple months ago, we seen an example on LinkedIn where you and I had shared some comments on another individual's post around um, crisis voyeurism, right? So that whole aspect of the difference in how we're dealing with crisis in America versus other, I think that's like that vibe that we want to kind of bring with when we're talking to individuals, because I think that there's a lot of differences in how social media data and how it's perceived and approached across the markets. And I think it's important for everyone to kind of understand that, since we are moving to a more global global workspace in a lot of in a lot of different instances. So from that regard, like, Dwayne, what are some of the biggest challenges that you see between trying to do your social listening practices or freelancing in your region of the world versus trying to work with American specific opportunities or things like that?
Yeah, I think the main challenge is that it's understand the culture, because this the main diversity, this diversity, it's like not challenging just for us as analysts, social data analysts, etc., but also for brands, for catching and understanding the culture behind social data. So the culture it's really different, and catching this kind of insights from different digital platform, and for example Facebook and YouTube here in our area, maybe in other area it's going to be due to other platform. So the most and the main challenge is understand the culture, and also having this ability to maybe use different tool um, be, like behind the scene. We can say this volunteer to integrate social listening strategy in general social marketing. So yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I love that, because I mean, I feel like post pandemic, right? We all got a little bit more global in a lot of areas of communication. And then we've also had some other things culturally that I think bring people together. Um, whether it's even like this emergence of just football or soccer, as we call it in America, right? Like the
Yeah.
World Cup and all that stuff, right? So I think that like having these different markets kind of come together and understand how those things are perceived are really important. And Feliani, you had a very good point where you talked about how in Latin American markets, social intelligence is maybe a little bit on the greener side or newer side. So can you kind of help explain what you mean by that and how you're going to help the market kind of not even, not to say get up to speed, but help weave some of that newness back into the other markets too? Because I think that sometimes when you get too advanced, you forget about some of the more basic or fundamental aspects of the work that we do. So, what are your thoughts there as far as like bridging that gap or making it come full circle?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That and that's a great point, and that's exactly why I'm so excited about meeting with you guys and doing this podcast. I mean, my experience basically in the past has been mostly supporting use cases in Europe and United States mostly. So taking a look back and seeing what the perspective is in Latin America right now. Yeah, I think from an educational perspective, I think to your point, Khalil, it's going back to the basics. So really proving the value of social listening, starting from like an educational standpoint. And I think the best way just to prove the value of it is through use cases, through showing, hey, this is the insights that we can obtain through this type of of discipline. Whether you're looking from like a brand reputation perspective, you're looking to understand what's happening in the industry even before creating a campaign. So I think it's just very important also to be very pragmatic and
Hmm.
not just say, high level, oh, this is what we could do, this is how we could help you, but actually show and go through the specific use cases like the ones we have planned for this season. So it can be more concrete, right? It can be more realistic. It just doesn't stay in concepts or just the educational portion, but this is how it's done and this is how we can actually help you. And these are some examples of brands that are doing them right now in Latin America. This is how it could work for your specific audience, your brand, and even start discovering new opportunities, because
Hmm.
again, it's a different audience, right? From US, from Europe, from the Middle East that we're going to be covering. So I think it's going to be so interesting just to see how the audience behave differently, their knowledge around social listening and social intelligence, but also the value we can each bring to
Right.
keep moving forward and just to keep sharing successes across continents.
No, that's a great point. The use cases I think are what's going to provide that aha moment for all of our
Yeah.
viewers. And I'm particularly interested in your market because, like I said, I feel like sometimes when you have too many tools or too much support, you forget about how you tried to do this work before you had those things, right? So becoming scrappy and understanding how to become resourceful as a practitioner in this space, I think is really important because maybe you don't have access to a high powered social listening tool stack, or maybe you don't have a tool stack at all, right? But how do you still continue to provide this value or do this type of work, whether it's for an organization or as a freelancer? And I know all three of us have that experience of just kind of rolling up your sleeves and getting your hands dirty. So I want to pass that back to Dway because you're really good at identifying some of those unique either websites or places where you can gain these insights when it comes to kind of supporting the industry and really kind of being trying being leaders for others in the industry, right? What are some of those areas that you feel like are low hanging fruits or opportunities for uh, you know individuals that are looking for new opportunities as far as freelancing or even just gaining employment in this space? Like, what are some of those tools or areas that they could be using, Dwayne?
Yeah, sure. I think here in our area as North African and also Middle East, we can say also in Europe. So I think the markets it's a really a real opportunity for exploring this industry and understanding the behavior of customer through to the social intelligence and social culture stuff. So we have we're gonna say different tools to can we can use it, but um, it's depend. I think it's depend this ability for maybe freelancers, sorry, freelancers or startups or companies to integrate this social listening strategy in their marketing. So yeah, we have like different. I cannot say brands, so because it is really different, but the most important thing it's depend the budget, also the vision, the mission of the company or the entity, and also it's not just for companies in private sector but also in public sector. So public sector like ministry, administration, organization, it's a real opportunity for them to understand the markets and to protect their reputation uh, online. And yeah, I think so.
I think so as well. You know, it's interesting to think about um how far, I guess, I mean, I can speak for us, Felianny. We were in that first cohort of the social intelligence lab, and Dway, like we met a couple of years ago as well, and I've seen all the growth here on this call, right? So it's interesting to kind of go back to what you just said, Dway, and try to think about the growth from other individuals from that standpoint, and making sure that you understand the use case and the budgets when you're going in. But I do think that it's important too for us to help provide um, a community or even just that lens to those individuals that might not even be at that point yet, right? I think this is a very sought out. It's starting to be a more mainstream or sought out position, right? You see a lot more companies on the American side kind of investing into these type of teams, these new teams emerging that are more than just a one person, one man, woman show, right? So being able to provide that that starting point too is what I want to kind of cover this year as well. Is like, anytime we can come across any new cool website that can provide some type of understanding or any new techniques, right? Like using answer the public and figuring out XYZ to do something else, or just all the sauce, right? I just want to make sure that we are covering all the bases because I love this industry that we are part of, and I think that there's a lot of individuals that would learn more about it and take it more seriously, the more that you have individuals like us kind of putting things out there. So I want to kind of switch gears though, guys, because we got a couple more minutes and I want to kind of make good use of our time, right? So, considering that, Dway, I think you speak 4 or 5 languages or something crazy like that, and
Four
Feliani
languages.
four, and Filiani, I know you speak Spanish, but I believe you said you may speak another language as well.
So with Spanish and English, and I do understand a little bit of French.
French, okay.
Okay,
So
maybe Portuguese also
right,
because it's a really native
Portuguese
Spanish.
is very similar to Spanish. Yeah, yeah.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
so if it's okay, I wanted to add just something real quick on the last
Go ahead.
comment you made on the
Go ahead.
resources piece. Because yeah, within our discipline and social intelligence and social listening, the resource piece can definitely be a challenge because not everybody, from what we've seen, and us starting with the first cohort of the social intelligence certification, some of us were just like a team of one, literally, right? So sometimes to get budget in can be a challenge, and to even sell the idea that this is valuable is definitely a challenge. So I do agree with you on that, and with Due as well. Like, as much resources that we can provide and share for someone that might just be like a team of one right now, or even like freelancing, to still show their value, even though they might not have, you know, the budget for like a big tool or one of the like most expensive softwares that can get a lot
Mhm.
of some of those insights. But I think it would be valuable to just share how we can still, you know, get those actionable insights and value for the brands, for the different sectors that we're supporting, and push this discipline forward, even with the could be like a lack of resources or a lack of support, but still being able to do that with the content we provide here, the ideas, the tips, the resources. So that's definitely very important, and I think that that definitely helps push the discipline forward and the value of it.
Absolutely. And I think like the ultimate goal is for the individuals to get, inspired, be able to go out into their jobs, be more impactful in their teams. But I think that there's always like a gold standard, right? Or a team or a company where or a brand where you're like, oh, I love their social teams. And I think one of those teams that I feel have emerged in the last year or so is Duolingo. That's why I was getting at you guys speaking multiple languages, right? So
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the TikTok ban and all the stuff that happened in America, right? And we had this red note tool kind of pop up as a place where people could go. And right after the red note, um, people rushing the red note in fear of losing TikTok, you've seen a surge in people picking up Duolingo as a tool to learn Mandarin. Then you started seeing Duolingo kind of come back with their very, you know, sometimes dark humor, sometimes, poking at different things. And they've been able to ride that wave for a while. And this is why social intelligence and these things are important, because we have power when we're on these teams, right? Duolingo was able to kind of capture the hearts and the minds of many, many individuals online with their funny tweets and poking fun at Drake. And then it just went too far last week, right? Now they're making fun of suicide. And it's like, okay, when you have this power of understanding social media and social intelligence and understanding the people and the sentiment and how to use this for your brand, you have a lot of power that you have to, you know when enough is enough, right? So that's why I think that shows like this is really good to be able to kind of cover multiple different sections. And it's not that every episode will be, English, French, and Spanish. It's going to be all three of us going out into the world and bringing content to you all. Now, whether the episode comes out in French or English or whatever, our goal is to make sure that everything is cross promoted at some point. So, everyone, just bear with us as we figure this out. I really appreciate these ladies. They've definitely pushed me because, I tried to quit a couple times and Dwayne won't let me. And I respect her for that because she does a fantastic job of organizing. And Felianny is the she's keeping everyone's keeping me in check this year. So I really appreciate the help, guys. I'm looking forward to this because I think that this could be a amazing opportunity for us to kind of share that perspective
Yeah.
across the different markets. And you guys are awesome, and I'm grateful for you guys allowing us to kind of push this project to the next level this year. So those are my closing remarks. I'll let you guys go ahead and close out, and then we can just say peace up and get to work. I think we got a couple episodes to edit and some things to schedule for some shows in the future. But I'll pass things off to you guys to say your closing remarks.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna say I'm really excited to that. It's not just a simple information, it's a real insight to understand the behavior of our customer in different sides to the world, like Europe, North Africa, in your area also, guys. So to understand the behavior and the customer nearly, and to have like proactive, to be proactive, not just reactive. And I gonna say let's do it. Let's explore this together. So, restez connectés en français, je peux le dire, et de belles choses y arrivent. Voilà.
That's awesome. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We're all very excited, and especially because of the insights we're going to provide, and just having this space in general that we know from an education perspective is going to be great. So we're very, very excited to be able to provide that value to all of you. So a nuestra audiencia, muchísimas gracias. Los esperamos por aquí con toda la información, educación que tenemos disponible para seguir trayendo información con social listening y social intelligence, y que todos podamos conectarnos y sobre todo aprender mucho los unos de los otros. Así que los esperamos. Thank you all. We're very excited.
See you guys.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.